Two people are walking towards Emmaus from Jerusalem, and they encounter a stranger. One of the two has a name, Cleopas. His name is mentioned because others in the Christian community would have recognized him as a fellow disciple. Some theologians have speculated that the other person may have been his wife. Her name, however, is not mentioned in this story, simply because she is a woman. That was how things were back then, and still in many places now, unfortunately. What is surprising is how the story unfolds. The stranger was asking about what they were discussing. Cleopas said, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know what has taken place?" So they explained to this stranger about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the third day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and they did not find his body there. They came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the woman had said, but they did not see him. What strikes me about the passage is the emotion of the two people and the story that they told. Luke, the narrator, said they were sad. It somehow does not seem to jive. Essentially, you would expect them to be jubilant because the women had gone to the tomb and found it to be empty, and the angel said that Jesus was alive. Instead of being happy to hear about the good news of the resurrection, they apparently were sad. Why were they sad? Were they sad because they did not truly believe what the women had told them, that Jesus was alive? It appears as though they heard the message, but they could not let it sink in. They were just like Thomas, who refused to believe in the miracle of Jesus' resurrection. So their emotion was that of Good Friday and not of the Easter Sunday. They could not let go of the crucifixion, torture, and betrayal. So the stranger, having heard all, rebukes them for having a slow heart to believe. Then as they arrived at the village of Emmaus, the stranger was about to depart, but the others pleaded with them to stay. When they settled at the table to eat, the stranger took bread, blessed it, broke, and gave it to them. These were the words of Jesus used when he fed the 5,000 as well as at the Last Supper. Through the words and the body language in the breaking of the bread, their eyes were opened and they recognized that he was indeed Jesus. Jesus revealed himself in the breaking of the bread, in sharing a simple meal in gratitude. It is one of the reasons why we Christians consider communion to be sacred. But communion happens outside of the church setting as well, in the feeding of the hungry, as we do with the out of the cold. The Justice and Outreach Committee prepared 100 sandwiches, which will be delivered to Asian Court Community Service agencies later on today. We as a church are the body of Christ, and the true nature of Jesus is revealed in these acts of kindness and generosity, even today. We ourselves become a vehicle for Christ shining in this world. I would like to share with you a poem called You Are What You Break by Marin C. Tirabassi. On the day the stranger walked with them down the Emmaus road, it wasn't the prophecies he explained, or even the companionship on a journey of loss, or even, well, opening the door to that scarred body. No, they were the risen one in the breaking of the bread. You are what you break, bread. You are what you break, stereotypes, barriers put up by prejudices so old no one remembers their generations, or so insidious you don't recall what celebrity, leader, newsfeed friend turned the clever phrase. You are what you break, family patterns and personal defenses, racial lines and glass ceilings. Some people will talk, and we've always done it this way. You are what you break, boundaries between old and young, English speakers and those with other beautiful words, religious faiths that don't trust each other, and cultural identities so rich and so afraid of dying. Boundaries between workers in cubicles and workers in garages, shoppers at Prada and Goodwill, graduates of university and hard knocks, those with a record and those who think that's retro music on vinyl. You are what you break. The hidden codes of the school cafeteria, break room, water cooler, faculty lounge, holiday dinner with the family of a fragile new marriage. You are what you break. The lie that a sweet wedding kiss between man and man or woman and woman will steal the sweetness of marriage, and other lies people put in God's mouth. You are what you break. An addiction to alcohol or opioids, Facebook, spank video, online shopping. You are what you break. Fears of flying, small spaces, clowns, fears of the gender in your brain, of saying yes to hospice, or of moving to a shelter when someone hits you or your children. You are what you break. It is all a loaf of bread once it's broken. It's how we feed each other, how we identify the words that light up our hearts, how we recognize the holy stranger who is with us all the time. Our faith journey is also a journey from Jerusalem to Emmaus, where we also encounter the holy stranger. The holy stranger shows up in unexpected times and in unexpected places. We may recognize him or her as Christ only afterwards. Christ shows up to give us the strength that we need, especially as we try to survive through this pandemic, to give us hope, to imagine a better world, to live a more gentle and authentic life, and to give us peace. When our hearts are open, we may see Christ more readily, and his resurrection becomes truly real and becomes alive in us. Thanks be to God.